Good. We'll join in the budget mentions. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, justice for all. Welcome to the meeting tonight. We have my agenda. So the first thing we've got to deal with is the review of the October 6th planning board minute.
I'll make a motion, we accept them as presented.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor? All those opposed?
Okay.
Under old business, we have, MO04, LO12, Standpipe Road. Application subdivision review.
Yes.
Who's here to represent that?
Is Joe Ryan? Can you introduce himself?
So my name is Joe Martin. I'm a civil engineer with Sightlines in Brunswick, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant. We do have a quick presentation. This has been a little bit since I've been here. I just want to update everyone on the project and go through it quickly. So the project is called Fox Hollow Estates. Quick rundown of the project team. So the applicant, as noted there, Sightlines again, we're the civil engineer and the surveyor of record for the project. Basswood Environmental did the wetlands delineation on the property. Drummond Woodsum assisted with the legal side of the project. Peter McCready did the soils septic test pits, and then Mark Sensi assisted us with the hydrogeology. And by the way, if any questions throughout the presentation, feel free, you don't have to wait to the end. Quick rundown of the summary of the project. So the total parcel size is a little under 25 acres. It's located in the rural zoning district, which, as you sure you know, has a minimum lot size of 80,000 square feet and a minimum road frontage of 200 feet. There is some resource protection overlay on the property. There is a inland waterfowl and wading bird habitat located off the property, and then the 250-foot setback from that extends into the property. So the project itself has been designed as a traditional lot subdivision with 8 lots, about 2.5 acres of dedicated open space. And all of that results in about 26,500 square feet of new impervious area and 2,100 square feet of wetland impact. The new roadway that's going to be constructed will also be a private roadway. So with that, there'll be a HOA that will be created that will assist with the maintenance of the roadway itself, stormwater features, all of the kind of the aspects that need to be maintained as part of that subdivision. Review process. So with the town, of course, this is a subdivision review. So this is kind of a 3-step process with sketch, preliminary, and final. We're here with you tonight to hopefully obtain the final approval for this project. There was a public hearing in June and then a site walk on June 17th. The DEP, the project falls within the permitting thresholds for a stormwater permit by rule, and that is because it results in more than 1 acre of disturbance. That permit has been submitted to and accepted and approved by the DEP in April. Prior to construction, we will also need to get a main construction general permit from them as well. And that is also because it results in more than 1 acre of disturbance. And that is a permit that is held between the contractor and the DEP. So whoever the applicants choose to construct the road. So, you know, some type of construction firm, they'll submit that permit and get that prior to them initiating construction. And the final permit is the Army Corps of Engineers, because this does result in wetland impacts and the removal of trees. It does require a main general permit, which was approved in August of this year. Some other review process that we went through. So to prove that we meet the town requirements for stormwater and erosion control, we had Cumberland County Soil and Water Conservation District review the stormwater management plan and the erosion control plan. And they wrote up a memo on behalf of Knox and Lincoln County Soil Water Conservation District approving our design for that. We also sent letters out to the Maine Historic Preservation Commission, Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, and Maine Natural Areas Program. All of them came back with no impact letters. The IFNW did note just the 250-foot buffer from the inland waterfowl, which we already knew and had already shown in our plans. And then lastly, because we are extending public water with the roadway, we got an ability to serve letter from the Great Salt Bay Water District.
Did you have that? Did you get that letter or?
From the Great Salt Bay?
Yeah,
It was an email from, I think, December.
okay. Yeah.
If you don't have it, I can send that to you.
Okay.
They
No,
said,
I think I was mixing it up with YMCA, but
yep,
you've already got it. That's good.
yep. So the road, as I said before, it's gonna be a private subdivision road. It's approximately 1,000 feet in length. It's an 18-foot gravel roadway with 3-foot gravel shoulders. And it meets the maximum slope requirements of 10%. I think the max slope on the road is 9%. And again, there'll be a public water main extended. Each lot will have private septic, and then there'll be underground electric and communications that'll be extended along the roadway as well. So the stormwater management plan that we implemented for this consists of roadside ditches that convey the stormwater from the road and a portion of the lots down to 2 what are called grass and drain soil filters, which are pretty much detention basins that slowly infiltrate the stormwater through this filter material into under drains, and then that gets slowly released out through the structure. If you have more questions on that, I can answer that as well. And then lastly, we will provide a performance guarantee that is in the amount of the project in whatever form is acceptable to the town. All right, there are 3 waivers that we were asking for. One is for street trees. At a previous meeting, I believe the board concluded that they did not feel it was necessary. Along with that is a landscaping plan. The lots are intended to remain in their existing natural state, and they will be cleared by the future homeowners. The intent is to maintain the trees as much as possible, and landscaping doesn't seem prudent in this instance. And then lastly is the requirement to install 4x4 concrete monuments within the roadway. The kind of accepted practice now is instead of that is to install the 5/8 inch rebar with ID caps. The concrete monuments, 1, are extremely difficult to install, and 2, they're harder to locate because they typically don't have any type of metal with them. With the rebar, they are installed usually 3 feet into the ground. Or if there's ledge, then we anchor them to the ledge, and then they have an ID cap, and that rings out really well if you're ever trying to locate them in the future. This is a question.
Is the rebar at the corners of all the property, of all the lots?
It
Or
would
is this
be,
along the road?
it would be both. It would be at all the corner points of the roadway and then at the lots as well.
Okay.
This is an aerial. The lot itself is highlighted in yellow. You have Standpipe Road running north to south here. Back Meadow Road runs along the top, and then the bottom is Biscay Road. You can kind of note on this plan at the end, kind of the west side of the property, there's a pretty large wetland complex that all this eventually drains down into. So this is the existing conditions plan. Standpipe Road is on the right-hand side. The cross-hatched areas are the wetlands. And you'll see some, it's kind of tough to read at this scale, but there's some lighter hashed areas that are the steep slopes as well.
Where is the fill? They mentioned, filling part of one of the wetlands.
Yep.
Where is that?
So Might be better on the next slide.
Okay.
So this is the subdivision plan. So again, Standpipe Road is on the right-hand side. Fox Hollow Road will be extended from there down to the end. And you'll see that at the end of the roadway, there is some dark hatch area in those wetland areas, and that's the impacted wetlands. So right when you get to the end of the roadway, the private road is gonna end, and then there's going to be a shared driveway that extends off the end of that to serve those two lots at the end of the roadway. So there is a relatively large fill area at the end of the roadway to be able to get enough elevation to install the culvert and maintain the necessary vertical slopes. And then yeah, so that's the 2,000 square feet of wetlands impact there right at the end. You'll note too that along Standpipe Road, there is a wooded buffer that's required by the ordinance that we are showing on our subdivision plan as well. The end of the road here, there are two lots at the very end, lots 3 and lots 4. And then westerly of those lots is the open space, which is also a good portion of the resource protection area, which is again, the 250-foot setback area from that wetland. So that 2.5 acres of open space is at the very end, and it's protecting those most important areas that are directly adjacent to these wetlands.
And there's a pedestrian easement from the end of the
Yes.
road?
Yep, there's a pedestrian easement that extends out the end of that road to that open space to allow the future lot owners to access that for their enjoyment.
Will be marked,
Yes, there'll be, well, one, there'll be pins at the end of the road and where that line connects. So it should be fairly obvious where that is in the field. So that's constructive.
was there any consideration to putting in a bridge instead of a culvert at the end of the road?
There was typically bridges are you more see when it's a stream, or especially if it's a perennial stream that's a certain width, then a bridge becomes more feasible. In this instance, you're really just trying to maintain that what they call hydraulic connectivity between the sides of the wetlands. So that culvert itself will be embedded 6 inches into the wetland. That helps maintain the water flow through there. It's also 36 inches in diameter, which is more than enough capacity to convey the stormwater that needs to go from it's actually going from south to north here. And I noted that there's in the meeting minutes of I can't remember if it was the August or the July one, but there were some concerns about the culvert size. So just south of the property, where the wetland kind of goes off the property to the south, just south of there's a ridge, and then it starts pitching back southerly that way. So really the area that's draining towards that culvert is very minimal. It's pretty much from that wetland up towards Standpipe Road. And it's just that kind of segment there. If we were just sizing this for flow and not sizing it for the hydraulic connectivity, it would probably be more like a 18 to 24 inch pipe. But the Army Corps requirements make us put in a 36-inch pipe to maintain that hydraulic connectivity. This is probably kind of an engineering plan, so it may not be clear to many in the audience, but Standpipe Road again here is actually on the left side here, and then the road extends outward. So up near the roadway, we're relatively flat coming off Standpipe Road, about 2%, and then the road pitches down to 9% all the way to the end of the roadway. There are two, as I know before, two soil filters along the roadway that have been sized to collect the stormwater coming off those roadside swales, and again slowly release that back to the.
So where are those? Can you point where those are?
Let's see if I can draw on this thing.
I think I can, the drainage swales?
Yeah.
Is that,
The detention basins.
I think there's one here.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
one here.
here, okay, you've got a pointer.
Yeah, kind of goes on, and I actually have one of the next slides. I have a blow up of those, what those look like, but and then there's one here at the end. And it goes, what those are intended to be is for the most, 95% of the time, they're gonna be dry, no water in them. And then when you get a large storm event, you're gonna see that fill up, and whether a small event, it might be 3 inches, a large event, it may be 18 to 24 inches in that neighborhood. And that fills that up and then slowly drains down through an under drain system. There is also a what we call an overflow spillway. So if we get an extremely large event, you know, a 50-year storm, something like that, then that water has somewhere to overflow to, so it's not backing up into the roadway, causing flooding issues there.
So we generally get 50-year events every year, several times nowadays.
There has been
So, I mean, has this been sized to reflect the current weather
Yep.
conditions?
yeah, DEP updated their rain event tables probably around COVID, so probably 5 years ago or so. And those were certain rain events were increased in they do them based on inches. So
Okay.
a 2-year storm is like 3 inches of rain. You know, obviously it goes up as you get large storm events.
So like what are the dimensions of these detention basins? I mean, are they like
I mean, they're
40 feet?
just scaling that, they're probably 25 feet wide by maybe 60 to 80 feet long.
So they're big.
Yep.
Will there be a fence around them?
No, because again, they are dry 90% of the time. The I will say too that you really only see standing water in them during extreme events. I would say 10-year events plus. The sizing criteria we have to do for them, and it's based on the DEP criteria, is based on pretend all the rain came at once and then it had to drain down. Well, that's not how it works, obviously. Rain kind of comes all at once, and you know, while it's flowing in there, it's flowing out at the same time. So these are oversized on purpose to allow for some variance in what they can detain. But these have been designed so that in the 25-year storm event, the overflow spillway is not activated. That all flows down through the under drain system.
How steep are the slopes, for like the sides of that?
3 to 1. So, you know,
What does that look like? You know,
yeah, I like
Like
that.
that?
3 to 1 is mowable. Anything over 3 to 1 is, I mean, you can still mow up, you know, we say 3 to 1 is a rider mow. You can mow that with a.
So like, kids might roll down and,
Yeah.
they're not gonna fall into it
Nope.
and get hurt or
No.
anything.
are you gonna have guardrails on this road or?
There is, as you get down towards the end of the roadway. Down in this area where you cross the wetland, there is guardrails on both sides of the roadway in that location. And that's just based on the drop from the road down to where the wetland area is.
So there's sort of a hammerhead ending to that road, right?
Yes.
So it's a pretty steep road the whole way down.
Yeah, you know, 9%, you know, 10% is the maximum, 9% is a little bit less, but yeah, I mean, it's a relatively steep road.
I mean, we saw a pretty big cliff that they're gonna blast
Yep.
when we do the site visit. It's
Yep.
pretty impressive.
Yep, yeah, you know, there's, I would say in Maine, we deal with ledge quite a bit. And, you know, to get in there, they're gonna most likely blast that out and then reuse that blast rock as road base materials when they construct the roadway. So, you know, they're probably most likely not gonna blast it and then dragging it off site. That material is usually great for using to help build the road up and construct the roadway. So this is a blow up of the 2 soil filters. These areas over here, that's the overflow spillway. And there's a catch basin here these are all under drain pipes here that connect, go into this catch basin and then slowly drain out towards this area. And again, this is the overflow spillway that those extreme events that will get activated to allow water to flow out of it. Same thing over here. This is a profile of what that 36-inch culvert at the end of the road would look like. Again, you can see here this hashed area at the bottom of the culvert, that's the embedment. So they embed it 6 inches and they actually put this like a crushed stone. It's a blended crushed stone material you put in there that kind of lets water and kind of critters kind of move in between the other sides of the wetlands. And then this is a,
But inside the culvert?
yep. So that bottom 6 inches has some material in it.
Okay,
Yes,
so it's not, is it a round or is it one of those?
it's a round one. Yep.
Okay,
And then this is just a cross section just to show you that, there's plenty of fill above this culvert too. Typically we want at least 3 to 4 feet above that culvert. To allow for the forces from the roadway not to impact the culvert itself. And then I think that was it, so go back to the,
are you familiar with the blasting plan?
somewhat, yes.
So I read that they're planning on 25 holes, right?
I believe, I think that was their
And
initial estimate.
they only will do 4 blasts a day, right?
I think that,
I think that was it.
yes,
And I-
something around that.
So that's like a week of blasting?
Yeah, sometimes, you have to blast and then you have to go out and clean out the material that you do. So it may be a day or 2 in between blasting. And sometimes I've been on lots of projects with blasting before, and sometimes they think they put enough blasting material to do it, and then once they clear out the material, they're like, all right, we need to do another blast, because this didn't get deep enough what we wanted, so it's kind of an iterative process while they're out there, and some of the true material is tougher than other parts.
And I saw that they offered to do surveys of landowners within, was it 500 feet,
It's 250.
250 feet?
Yeah,
Of their water quality and
in the structure.
the structure.
Yeah, I think, is that required when you're doing that kind of
It
blasting?
is not required,
It's not required.
but it's standard practice in the blasting industry.
Okay.
So I talked with actually a gentleman from Maine Drilling and Blasting. And he was saying for this type of called residential scale blasting, you're not blasting out a huge pit or anything like that. The regulations for notification are really pretty minimal, but they obviously want to stay on top of it because they don't want to be known as people who go just blasting people's backyards. So their standard practice is notify people within 250 feet, offer them the ability to test their wells and test their and look at their structures,
Right.
and do before and after photos. People don't have to accept it. Talking with a guy, he said it's usually about 50-50. Half the people take him up on it, half the people just say, we don't care.
So the decibel level of the blasting
Yep,
is equivalent to, I looked it up, equivalent to a rock concert or a sports crowd. It's
Yeah, but it's quick.
yeah, it's quick. It's 123 to 129 decibels.
Depends how close you are to it.
Right,
yeah,
right,
And up kind of blasting that, so you got to.
right. And 106 to 115 is a chainsaw.
What did it say that this blasting is gonna be?
This is 123 to 129 decibels. Just to
Yeah,
try to understand, I actually thought it was a great blasting plan.
oh, good.
It seemed like a really responsible company.
yep. No, I don't know, probably whatever, but they're kind of the industry leader and.
Yeah, I mean, they just were real thorough in their.
Yep.
Description.
That,
I mean, what, should we ask more questions?
I don't really, I mean, I understand the blasting process.
Okay, I mean, I have other
I'm
questions.
in the construction industry.
Okay.
What's your question?
Okay, well, one of my questions is, why didn't they get a warranty deed? For the property? I mean, do they have a warranty deed? I saw the deed of sale, but I mean, if you're going to be subdividing land and selling people pieces of the property, it seems like you should have a deed that guarantees kind of like a clear title and that's free from liens and covenants and stuff.
I don't know particularly about the thing, but I know that they do have clean title on it. I don't know if.
Okay, they do?
That's not.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a really fair and important question for a residential project.
Thanks.
Rob Listcord, attorney with Drummond Woodson for the applicant. So it's not uncommon for, I think the real question is whether they have insurable titles. So when you buy a home, you'll recall that you get title insurance on your home, or your bank or a lender will require that you get title insurance. And so it's not uncommon in the context of an estate transfer or something like this, where it was coming out of an estate where it's not a warranty deed, you get a personal representative deed or something else that doesn't have the typical warranty covenant that a single individual selling to another single individual might give to each other. And the concept of a warranty deed really is something that exists from when we didn't have title insurance. And in lieu of the warranty deeds, now what lenders and home buyers look for is the title insurance itself, is what kind of steps in and serves that role. Because there's a lot of circumstances why people may or may not want to give a warranty deed to a buyer, but that doesn't impact our developer here selling those through a deed with a covenant for their period of ownership and being able to get title insurance for those owners.
So what kind of deed would he provide the people? A warrant? Okay.
Typically, a quitclaim deed with covenant is what is
Okay.
acceptable for residential purchases and is what they would give here.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, so I was reading the, let's see. The Army Corps report, it talks about these bats. Is that area like an important bat habitat? I mean,
A very large portion of the state of Maine is in the habitat of the northern long-eared bat, is now endangered or threatened to be endangered, I don't know exactly. So now, from our standpoint, from a consultant, I would say 80 to 90% of our projects are within that habitat area. So what they typically do and what they did on this one is they restrict the clearing window of when you can clear trees. And what they don't want you to do is clear trees when the bats are moving around trying to what's it called? Roost. Yes.
so it's like from April to, I mean, it's a pretty,
Yeah, April to September.
September.
They can't clear, and then September to April, so they want to clear kind of in the fall, winter times when the bats aren't there.
huh,
If, let's say we start with moving through this and then, a homeowner says, all right, well, I want to clear in June. They're gonna have to go back to the Army Corps and they can do a couple things. They can get a bat acoustic survey. Where people go out there and they listen for bats and I don't know the exact process. And there's a couple different other processes you can go through to do that. But the way the permits are right now, there's no clearing within that April to September window.
so
So
would that mean you couldn't build the road?
within well, you'd have to clear during the winter.
Oh, clear, okay.
And then, the individual lots, would have to be cleared up. Like I said, if they wanted to change that, they'd have to go back to the Army Corps and get an updated permit.
I don't think we've run into this whole bat thing there.
I think this is the first time.
Yeah.
It's fairly new. I mean, I'd say within the past 5 years, maybe 3 to 5 years, I don't remember exactly when, but. And there's a couple other bats that are protected as well, but the northern long-eared bat is the primary. They're trying to,
Protecting, it doesn't affect the logging industry in that way.
now they're exempt.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Quite clearly.
Those two detention areas, is there any maintenance to those structures?
Yeah, so there's catch basin structures, like a drainage structure that they're going to keep clear that out every couple of years. If there shouldn't be, but if there is some sediment, sand and stuff that gets into the bottom of that filter basin, they'll want to get in there and take that out because that will start plugging up the infiltration going down into the underdrain. So part of the HOA docs is the maintenance of that, and we have a stormwater maintenance plan that was part of our stormwater management plan that the HOA has to adhere to.
So part of that plan includes them having to maintain that or have somebody maintain that to the specs that.
Yep.
Perfect. Yep.
And, worst case scenario, if that infiltration bed were to get clogged up,
Mhm.
then they just have to go, there's things you can do. You can go in there, rototiller back up, take off the top 6 inches, put it back in. So there's, if it does fail, there's avenues they can do to address that.
On the subdivision checklist,
Yep.
I think you all maybe ask for a waiver for usually you have to, when there's going to be impact to a wetland, you have to, propose an alternative. Did you guys do that, or?
So as part of the Army Corps permits, we typically do an avoidance minimization, which is, what we did is we located the road crossing in the
Mhm.
area where the wetland was the narrowest. And then we also steepened the slopes up to the highest that we could, which is 2 to 1 in that wetland crossing area to try to minimize those impacts as much as possible. But in this instance, to get the number of lots we had, that there was no kind of way to avoid the wetland impact. You kind of look at the plan over there, kind of see our wetland impact is kind of right in the narrowest portion of that.
Well, you had the locations of all the little septic sites, the tested septic
Mhm.
sites, and there were some that were very close to those grass filters. Would that impact? A septic?
Septics?
Yeah, a septic.
So there are separation requirements between stormwater basins and septics, but these basins are all lined. So you have what's called a PVC liner that separates the basins from the soils.
Okay,
So the stormwater that infiltrates can't infiltrate into the ground. So those setbacks don't really apply in this instance because those detention basins kind of are completely separate. They don't interact with the soil around it at all.
Mhm.
Even creating some licensed soil engineer, he knows all this stuff.
Should we ask for any comments from the,
Yep. Things you're done.
them done?
Yes. Now, we've already had a public hearing, we just got Mike and I discussed this. She just brought it up, if there's any. Residents on Standpipe Road that would like to ask any questions or make any comments. Be pleased to hear them. Gentlemen who may be able to answer your question. So if anybody would like to start, please raise your hand, stand up, state your name.
My name is Izzy Curtis. So I have a couple of questions. I was curious, I know that blasting protocol often, you have to be careful around farms and things like that. There is a farm technically on Standpipe Road. It is not right next door, but it is, along that stretch of road. So I was curious how that is kind of like taken into consideration. But more importantly, from my understanding, Maine also has the little brown bat as an endangered species, and it is state, not federally endangered. And they are also a bat that hibernates and does not migrate, so wouldn't blasting kind of disrupt, like there would be no way to blast without disrupting their natural habitats?
Can anyone speak to that?
Sure. So the blasting of the farm, I don't.
With livestock, that's the concern.
Switch over to. So this is a plan that was in the blasting plan for Maine Dealing Blasting. So that red line that you see kind of around the perimeter of the property is the 250-foot notification line. That's the only requirement that I know related to notification. I did not see anything regarding livestock or farms. I don't know exactly where they're located, but they're further away from that 250-foot notification line. I don't know if there's any requirement or, if that's not even a part of themselves, but. And the other one about the other bat habitat.
Speak to, sure, just point folks to the letter from the State Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, where they did look at. A little brown bat, northern long-eared bat, and two other varieties of bats, and didn't anticipate any significant impacts associated with this project when they reviewed it. And so it did take into account multiple species, not just the long-eared, eared bat.
Is there anybody else? Okay, we'll proceed.
Is that it? Is that all the questions or from the board as well?
You have any questions? No, but I appreciate yours. Thank you.
So we had, well, I guess there's a couple things. As you were talking, I don't know if you want to go through the findings of fact at all. There's a couple things, the waivers, I think we could review and just make sure we're on record and we're all on the same page.
We can go through findings of fact, I'm fine with that.
And then I've got some potential conditions that, just for your consideration, if you want to include them or not. So let's see, this is. This is. So. See. We've gone through this before, so there's only a couple.
Findings of fact.
Yeah, we go through.
I also read them this afternoon.
Yeah, and I
I
think
think
so.
go through the first.
Yes, yes, exactly. There's
Advantageous.
the performance guarantee I've got on here, well, the requirements of the subdivider can file a performance guarantee in an amount set by the select board. I think setting it as a condition, like the planning board's approval is conditional on the applicant and the select board entering into some kind of performance guarantee, like the select board
The select board.
determine the amount and
Okay.
how it's gonna be dealt with, but that way it's an approval. Before you pull your building permit. Then you have to. Get approval, to enter whatever the agreements can be with the select. This board will punt to that board, won't have to come back here.
That's normally done in commercial installation.
I mean, they
We're
were,
building to be the.
I think I think this is for basically the road, yeah, and the utilities and that, so it's not.
And that road should be infected.
Completion, yeah, and construction, I think is. Look. Would be good, seeing.
Okay, I get it,
Prior experience
Okay.
that we've had.
I get it.
Okay, so I've got a waiver, applicant has requested a waiver from. Required improvements, this is for. A landscaping plan,
So,
But,
which I think we discussed and said,
yeah,
yeah, that's fine.
so I just wanted to say, so in the HOA or the homeowners association agreement. It mentions something about no more than 10% of each lot shall be cleared. In addition to, whatever amount is needed for that, the buildings and the driveway. So that's pretty general. I mean, you could have a really big area that includes, buildings and driveway and yard.
yeah, but it's their lot.
I know, but that wasn't one of the intents of the subdivision, that as few trees as possible are going to be removed or whatever.
Yeah,
Is there any more?
No, you go ahead.
I'll just say, yeah, the 10%, I mean, that was intended to allow you to have, your roads or your driveway, your house, your septic, and then have 10% have a little lawn area just around the building and stuff like that. I don't think the intention here is anyone to build any, mega mansions out there and like that would result in clearing up more than that. But I mean, most of these lots are anywhere from 2 to 3 acres. So I mean, 10% of that, you're looking at 20,000 square feet of lawn-ish, in addition to your pervious areas. So actually not be less than that, sorry, it'd be more like 10 or 15,000 square feet. So,
And correct me if I'm wrong, but what the Army Corps requires, it allows for considerably more. Than temperature, you know that better
the, one of the things too is when we do our stormwater management plan, we look at some assumptions for pervious and developed areas in each lot, so. And that's stated in our stormwater report, is the, average impervious area in each lot is estimated at 7,500 square feet, and then the, developed or the lawn areas is 20,000 square feet, so. In total, we estimate about a little under 30,000 square feet per lot. I think that's way more than would be, allowed under the HOA thing, which says that plus your 10%. So, I think with both of those, we've kind of, given some allowance for people to build. Some people are gonna build a little bit less, some people are gonna build a little bit more, but I think balanced out, it's gonna work out to somewhere in that 10% neighborhood. Plus your driveways and houses and.
Does that answer the rest of your? The next thing I've got is, and you already mentioned it, there's a waiver from the requirement to have the concrete monuments and rather have the metal rebar with caps.
That's the norm now.
Yeah, and not an R ordinance, but yes, I agree, it's not.
I'll be right, take our ordinance, change that.
We're working on it.
We should go to specific boundary markers or something like that,
Yeah,
or acceptable boundary markers.
yeah, something permanent that's acceptable to the planning board. I think. There's one thing that we should work out, I think the. Application permit fees were $20, I think it was paid $20 over, so I just wanna mention, we'll work that out before. This gets too far down the road, but you paid like 600 and. You paid like $700, so it was like 720 or 680, so. Yep, it's a minor discrepancy, but wanna make sure we address that. Those were the conditions that I had in the findings of fact, the other things that. That were mentioned today that I thought might be conditions were. We're gonna need the main construction general permit before issuing a building permit, but it sounds like you guys are, you're already going for the on that, yeah. Mention the performance guarantee, requirement to maintain the pedestrian access way to the shared space. I think, and somebody asked if it was gonna be marked, but I think it's also important that it's maintained so that the residents can. So.
Doesn't have to be maintained, it should be just left in its wild state.
The pathway there.
Yeah, because it's within 250 feet.
Not the access of the road, the pedestrian access, it does cross into shoreline, but it doesn't get.
Then go right straight to it.
No, it crosses the 250 mark line, but it just basically gets to. And I guess maybe the easiest thing is that something that can be included in the road association?
I believe it actually already is, I would
It
have to double check.
Yeah,
but there's kind of a general, everybody on the lot will have the right to use those.
Yeah.
Public and open space areas, so there's the
Okay.
ability to maintain that, that'd be the sort of thing you'd collect fees on
Right.
to maintain people's access.
That and is the all the stormwater management, drainage and stuff, is that also part of the?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
that's definitely.
great. Possibly a requirement make the 250-foot notice for blasting a requirement. And then. Maybe putting.
That's already in your finding back.
No, that's not, that was from today. Just again, for your consideration, I want to put that on there or. It's put on the subdivision that the. Clearing of trees during the, like, when during the time the Army Corps doesn't want you to clear trees, say like. If you're gonna clear trees, you need approval from Army Corps, basically, because I know is their requirement anyway, but most people are not gonna know that's a requirement, so. by putting it on the subdivision plan was, there's something, they might see it, or the town might see it and say, wait, can't be. So when I say you can't, just the requirement is to, yeah, it's more explicit.
Could I suggest that it would be clearing consistent with the Army Corps permit, so in case we're. In wordsmithing right now, we don't line it perfectly, there's not kind of inconsistency or anything like that.
That's fine with me, yeah,
But
but.
in the same with following the blasting plan is gonna take care of that 250 if we just follow the plan that they submitted. It
Yeah,
covers
well,
within
that,
there.
that's kind of make it a condition
Yep.
that. I guess, you could say the conditions you follow the blasting plan that was presented, but. I was just saying for the 250 feet, notify everybody, but
I mean, it's also just suggests that some of it, the application and the whole packet kind of becomes a part of. The basis of your approval, so, blasting plan included this as what you received, so, it's kind of. A given, maybe not a given, but it's a part, if you read in the ordinance.
Yeah,
Because,
that's
so,
just figure, put that on as a condition and then. We know that's not just a thing floating out there. Yes, we've seen it, but it is in force. Those were the items that I had. Wait, let me just double check that I didn't have any conditions listed here. Performance guarantee. Improvements, just need to be completed. On here, the condition was all improvements proposed under the application shall be completed and confirmed to have been completed in writing by the code enforcement officer no later than December 1st, 2026. Is that too quick for you all? Basically by the end of the next calendar year? Build the road?
I guess the question is there any, and I don't know the ordinance enough to answer this, is there an ability to request an extension of that? As you know, if we were in November and we're like, oh, we still got, some work to be done, then we'd come in and say, hey, we need a 6-month extension or whatever it would be.
Yeah, I would think that would be fine if you come back to the planning board and ask, they could.
Yeah, as long as you don't change the plan.
Yeah. So I don't know if there could be some language just saying like that, unless.
Or extended by, unless extended by the.
Especially if you've actually started in earnest.
Yeah,
And you need to get an extension of the Army Corps permit too,
Yes.
right? Because it expired in October.
Yeah, and they just came out with the new ones of that, 1st November.
okay, I've got, that no individual lots can be sold until the. Proposed improvements are completed and confirmed to be completed. Is that acceptable to you?
I would think I think they've seen the conditions, so.
Yeah, okay, this one's already in there, so, no individual lots may be sold. All the conditions have been satisfied unless explicitly stated otherwise. No building permits for the town shall be issued within the subdivision. So all the conditions of approval. Been completed unless it's expressly stated otherwise. Lots 1 and 8 will not allow vehicular access from Standpipe Road. All roads in the subdivision shall remain private, maintained by the developer, the lot owners, which. I'm pretty sure that residents of the town could accept a road regardless of what these conditions are, but I think the ordinance requires that condition, so. But. So I guess moving forward. Do you want to include any of the conditions that I mentioned that came up today, but I think the requirement for the.
50-foot requirement, I think you ought to include that.
Okay, I will add that.
And
I don't know, I don't think the clearing of trees,
consistent with the Army
it's
Corps.
already restricted,
Mhm.
doesn't need to be restricted by us.
I am just suggesting noting that restriction on the subdivision.
We'll note it on.
Yeah, not that, I don't wanna, I'm
Just,
not gonna add or restrict.
I think
more.
he's trying to notify. Let people who buy lots might be more aware of the condition if they see it on the plan.
That's fine.
Okay, so maybe it's just to note the Army Corps regulation. Regarding the clearing of trees on the subdivision.
Michael, can I ask one question?
Yep.
So in the additional conditions, or what are they called?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's one about, replacing landscaping that dies.
Yeah, well, you're not gonna have any,
That's a,
I mean, I can take.
take it off, or I just wanna make sure we weren't. That wouldn't cause a
Yeah, that last one.
issues in the
Yeah,
future.
take that off. So notify. You wanna say follow the blasting plan that was submitted, is that, that'd be the condition?
Yep.
Heard about, just looking at the timeline and thinking when this was originally drafted, if the December 2026, if that could be a 2-year from approval, which sometimes we see, because that in a situation like this, lots would not be sold, but maybe you'd want to line up buyers and then, get people interested before selling lots, which would take a little time for people to kind of develop their plans and
That's,
if that's acceptable to the board.
yeah, you're. Give me 1 second too, no, let me for,
Sorry.
So these two, and what you were suggesting is move this, all improvements. Are required to be completed.
So
By December 1st, 2026, put that at 2027. Is that?
Sure, yeah, or 2 years from the approval, which is.
Or 2 years,
a
yeah.
month short of
Well,
that, but
right.
yeah, maybe it's easier to administer.
I thought
Do you,
it was generally 1 year.
The approval is, it by default is gonna expire unless there's something else that. Unless they start the construction or that, this is, if they're not finished. Really, temp wants them to be finished, so saying they have to be done within 2 years. Kind of hard to enforce, I guess. What that might do though is if with the performance guarantee, we basically can, okay, it's been 2 years, you're not done. We take the performance guarantee, finish building the road, and that's what it might trigger, but.
sorry to add a little color, I think that's probably, we just were talking about our clearing windows in terms of preserving habitat. And I'm just thinking about very practically the timing of scheduling and getting the road built around that. Wouldn't want a performance guarantee to be called I mean, I don't think the town has an interest in, taking over and running that anyway, but putting that aside, and just in thinking kind of practically about the schedule with winter, but also working around that clearing schedule. So it's completion, not commencement. I think that's.
Yeah,
So.
That's what it is. And this is a result of the subdivision that did not build the road, and basically. This, I guess, would allow the town to say, but you're in violation now of not building this road. The only. Assuming that you haven't sold any other lots or started building anything on it. Wouldn't be it's not really a problem if you don't build the road. I don't think the town, again, is gonna try and build the road, but it's just as one more lever that we can. Address situations that have arisen before. So.
And we can't sell lots until we.
And this only pertains to the
Anyway,
road, the road and the structures within the road anyway.
That's it, yeah,
So-
so.
So they want to sell a lot, so
Yeah,
that's a pretty good incentive to get it done.
yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just gonna change those to 2027, December 1st, 2027, and
Thank you.
the last. Okay. Yes, okay, so.
What is your tentative schedule?
I think, most likely, they're gonna at least clear during the time they have from now until April. While they have that clearing window open for the bat habitat. And then most likely, I would think start construction sometime spring, summer of next year. And this building, 1,000 feet of roadway, there is that blasting, but 1,000 feet of roadway. You could get done within pretty easily within one construction season.
Okay, so I assume that you do not have full-size plans here with you tonight.
I do not, because I,
The conditions always change,
Yeah.
yeah. But I guess we can kind of start going through the motions if the board is interested in approving this, that go through, approve it, review everything, and then, the only thing would be necessary is the board's gonna need to sign off on the plan, which either, like I said, the latest would happen at the next meeting. If you bring it,
You can get it in the town office.
Yeah.
Stuff, right?
you bring it to town office, I'll ask that they come and sign them and hopefully happen sooner, but
and do you want the prices on here, but I know you want the conditions on it, do you also want the approved waivers on plan as well?
that's up to you. I don't, for me, I don't think that I'm gonna have the waivers on there. I just wanna make sure that it's noted that the waivers are.
Okay.
That the board has waived those conditions. In all record. Okay,
I believe we voted this as being complete, did we not?
I don't. No, I don't think so. I don't recall that. But, do you want to vote on just, entertain that motion?
I would. Anybody wanna make a motion, this thing is complete?
Sure, I make a motion that we, call this application complete.
Good. We're in second. All those in favor? All those opposed?
So, see if I can get this in as few votes as possible for them to. I think the,
Can you just vote?
The
on
two
amended
waivers?
Find the amended findings of fact.
I think, yes. I think maybe first I would vote to approve those two waivers.
Three different, no.
I think it was just the two, and there was one that you had asked, which was the landscaping, the trees along.
I don't think that's.
That's why I think
Street trees.
what I recall is the board said that requirement wasn't.
Right,
So I don't think there's a waiver necessary for that.
the thing was going on later.
So the main waivers are. The requirement for a landscaping plan. Because the lots are gonna get developed separately, and a waiver of the requirement for concrete monuments, which they're proposing will be. Metal subdivision monuments. So those are the two waivers I've got.
Anybody wanna make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that we, except we waive the two requirements.
Okay, do I have a second?
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed?
So then I think though, not last, but then. About the findings of fact.
Do I have a motion to adopt the findings of fact?
Yes, as updated through this meeting.
Is it updated or amended?
Amended, yeah.
I'd make a motion that we, accept the findings of fact as amended.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
I'll second
Okay,
it.
all those in favor? All those opposed?
Okay. Two left, one is to find if the application is consistent with subdivision ordinance, land use ordinance. Shoreland zoning ordinance, I think that's it.
Okay, do I have a motion on that?
Make a motion that we find is consistent with the subdivision ordinance, the land use ordinance, and the shoreline zoning ordinance.
Do I have a second? Okay, all those in favor? Everybody opposed?
I think then,
You're doing all three as one motion, right?
yeah. I think if you want to approve the application with conditions, then you're. Need to do so.
Do I have a motion on that? Somebody?
I'll make a
Somebody?
motion that we approve, this application with the conditions listed.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor? All those opposed? There you
Is that four in
go.
favor?
Four in favor.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so then that's approved. Get a,
Just give me
I'll follow
a
up with you,
updated
but-
condition.
Yeah, I'll get you that
Yep.
condition, we're gonna go get the. You get 3 copies of the site plan over, and I'll get their subdivision plan, and I will have the planning board approval.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thanks.
Thanks for blasting pointing. That was helpful.
So that was that.
So, the problem is that he allows, one subdivision after the next in these rural areas. And then you end up with suburbia, and that's not what we're. So how do you avoid that?
Don't let anybody build any houses.
Yeah, well, that'll be, I think, part of the lot, for the ordinances that. You're going to be amending with,
The good thing is these lots are big. And that's one of the things that cuts the suburbia factor down, because you need space in between buildings and stuff. It's not like going to a cookie cutter center.
But
They're building their own style.
it's gonna be 50%. Clear, that whole area. I mean, when he's talking about like 30-some thousand square feet per lot, that's basically just shy of an acre. Let's make it 42,000.
Yeah, but most of these lots are larger than this. Some of them are over 3.
Yeah.
So,
or it's not
yeah,
ideal, but I think we can.
but people gotta have a place to put out. And people wanna have grass, and they wanna have trees, and they wanna have this, and they wanna have that. So, anyway, move on. There's no restrictions on that kind of stuff.
Wow.
I think up the crowd for a while.
I just wanna say that I think that because you guys are kind of high on the hill with your goat farm, and they're kind of down in the valley,
Yeah,
I think that actually it might not be very noisy, the whole blasting thing.
hopefully.
And they put big mats and stuff. I mean, that was my big concern was just,
I'm hoping that it will be really minimal impact. I mean,
It's not like it used to be.
right, I know we've made huge strides in so many things, and I know it'll be, much different than it was even like 20 years ago or 10 years ago. So hopefully, I'm hopeful that it will be less detrimental to like the surrounding community and all of that stuff for sure. And yeah, thank you, Jenny, and all of them.
Guys, have a great night.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay, for our next thing, we're gonna do 535 Main Street.
oh, really?
Perfect. So there, this was just shared by the applicant earlier.
Thank you.
Lot nice, I want them. You can build them.
Thank you.
Is this you?
This is me. So my name's McKay Raywinkle and my mom's back there. She's a little nervous. Her name is Allison Raywinkle, but we are purchasing the 535 Main Street, which is previously mainly pond. And this is our project proposal for Mermaid Provisions, which is going to be a multi-function building. So the site plans are to have 3 short-term rentals, a small event space, and a specialty food store. There's gonna be, oops, stop. Let me try that. That's okay. It's going to have, our contractor is Tom McGult. There's no actual structure changes to the actual buildings. It will just be facade changes. So in terms of parking spaces, that will be remaining what's the existing, which is 5 to 10. No changes to that, no changes to exterior lighting. So there won't be any problems with like the green light, everything will be existing.
Even your event barn with a small event venue up to 30 guests.
Yes,
And that's all the parking you're gonna have?
so it will be off, they'll be at the different times and the actual store will be open, so.
Okay.
Other questions on that? So a little bit more, so the 3 cottages, one will be in the back of the existing building that's attached to what was like the main part of the pawn shop. One will be in the attic space, and then one will be above the barn. The food store will be in that main part of the pawn shop. It will have like prepared meals, charcuterie, candy, baked goods. And then the event space is very small curated events. And then, I did put some projected economic and community impact, if you wanted to look further into that. Well, but there are some like specs of how the store will look like. The kitchen, I know that was a question. Yes, that will be through the health department in terms of ventilation and all that. It's not gonna be a full restaurant grade kitchen though, in terms of like fryers and all that, but there will be ventilation. Yeah. And then, the short-term rentals, it kind of goes into more of the design space. And then more about the specialty food store, so it's mainly, prepared foods. We don't have catering at this time, but it might be planned for the future. Mainly grab and go. We will have some tables for people to dine if they want, but there's no actual service besides at the counter. And then the event space, again, curated, small events, mainly probably like barn suppers or seasonal venues. And that's kind of the highlight of the project.
There are some, I gotta figure how to, we have to figure out how to fit some of this into the ordinance
Yeah.
because we don't have like event space as a use.
Yes,
So I think the way that I approached this was as basically saying that that's gonna be a restaurant.
yeah,
And let me see, or did I say, no, a neighborhood store, which is defined as a retail store that occupies less than 5,000 square feet.
mhm.
And no alcohol beverages are consumed, so. I'm gonna guess you're gonna, about that, look at these pictures.
Yeah, we probably will. It will not be like a, typically the events will be like a ticketed event more, so that would be like, it wouldn't be like a service.
Not, yeah, it's not gonna be like a bar.
Right.
But that which is fine, so I think maybe a restaurant. Because that's put it for the board, and I'll read you the definition of what a restaurant is. No, we don't have event space defined,
Trying to think what they classify Top Tail Farm as,
yeah,
which is an event center.
right,
And they
and
do
that's,
not classify it as a restaurant. They
Right.
also don't call it an event center.
well, and they might, like if it's. Like a lot of times farms get. Given kind of a wider berth than
I don't know.
they're doing, they don't actually
Not a
do,
farm.
okay. So basically a restaurant is a business or commercial establishment which serves food to the public for consumption on premises. It may include the sale of food, for consumption off premises. And then it says there's some requirements about if you're serving alcoholic beverages, you have to get a liquor license and stuff.
Yeah, I would. Kind of restaurant.
That's, I think that might be the closest
Yeah.
thing, since we don't have.
It gives you less latitude.
Okay, so.
So you have 3 rentals.
Mhm.
Are they all in existing spaces?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a little cottage behind.
It's not a cottage, it's attached to the main house, it's just so like if you, have you ever been into the main
No.
town store? Okay, so. The original front of it was kind of the main house, the real existing house, so we're just taking that first space and that's gonna be the specialty food store. And then all of the additional space that's attached to the house that was added on afterwards, that's gonna be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath unit, and then the above upstairs space will be a unit, and then above the barn, there's a unit.
So.
We're always looking to increase the amount of year-round rentals.
Yeah.
Five sections.
Well, I mean, I think we'll consider it if we can get people to, you know, bite at it. I'm not opposed to that.
Doesn't have that, that is.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
For us,
A lot of people
building code doesn't,
do a combination.
doesn't have a sentence, right, something where you.
Yeah, I don't think we really have that in our mind, like super set in stone if it's gonna be short or long. It's just in terms of financial, we think that the short at the beginning would be better and then we'll kind of those.
Um. Just trying to
What are you looking?
get this
There, you
sorted back
want me to unshare?
and. Do,
So this is like a sketch plan or sort of just to see if,
so, no, I think that. I'm assuming, sorry, I'm trying to multitask and I'm not good at it.
Well, you do pretty good.
Um. No, I think the applicant would like an approval. Let me, why don't you,
Mhm.
what do you need? 'Cause I understand, I think you have this under contract and you want to purchase it.
Yes, the closing date is Wednesday, so yeah, we were just hoping to get it approved so we can properly close. If there's no objections on the land of the building.
So, and I think there's a couple of things,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I think parking is, yeah, we'll park it.
Yeah,
Parking
parking will
would
be
be an issue.
existing.
And you sewer, town sewer?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Yep.
now, is it on sewer now, or is it need to
No,
go now?
we're going to.
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
connect it, yeah,
I mean,
and then
this
lighting
sewer
will
is-
change in terms of street lighting, it will be the existing.
Yeah. So I think that
And you sign.
there's the first thing is like, what are the uses? And let me just say, I think if we say the store. Well, the store can be you can do retail and a restaurant, and this has to be multi-unit residential because it's mixed use, which is fine. These are all allowed, but I just wanna know. I need to know, we need to figure out what are we approving it for? So those three uses, I think, are fit this.
yeah.
What's that? And they're allowed in C2, which is where this is.
Mhm.
But I just wanna make sure we're clear on that, because then we can figure out. I think parking standards is the main one, and
Absolutely. That's when we're done.
lighting is, yeah, I think. Lighting's not required, so it's kind of like whatever's existing, not adding new lighting. We don't need to.
No.
We can say, great, it's existing, but it's not conforming, it's legally non conforming.
She probably don't want to add lighting, you know, that's done properly, it doesn't even matter.
Right, and that can also be, you know,
It's the parking, size of the lot.
and I think that's, if we're approving these uses, we wanna make sure that there's enough parking and that the site can handle it. Reasonably, so, if that's the case. Yeah, look at the so, you're gonna need 3 parking spaces for those, and we don't have short-term rental, it's not a
Mhm.
thing, I mean, you're allowed to do it, it's just a dwelling unit.
Okay,
So you're allowed, so
so,
that, I think we,
That would be 3.
yeah,
yeah, there's 10 currently, so there's
and I think with, let me see
been
what. the site
7
plan says.
left. And like I said, the store.
It's based on square footage, isn't it? So
Wow.
this is, how big is this, the restaurant space or the event space?
The event space is. small.
And that probably is more,
And I think we're overestimating with 30, I think it's.
Yeah,
Just the gallery
Just the.
is 645 square feet.
Yeah.
it's actually it's not that big.
Mm-mm.
You know, once you take away the other residential units.
I just wanna find what the ordinance requires, and then we can. hopefully you're within that, and then it's easy. Yeah.
Lot space and everything.
So. Art gallery, what is this gonna be? Assembly might be in here.
So we require more than this, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, to accept it,
Yeah, well, and then there's,
if they can't get parking.
Well, no,
There's-
they can get, I mean, it's just a flat, I mean, they can put all kinds of cars in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, to a certain degree, but you gotta do the calculation to come up with it. I mean, we're not gonna accept this thing tonight. They just want some kind of a yay or nay to go in
With the concept that you're good to go,
purchase this property.
right?
Mhm.
Okay,
They're not
They come
gonna
back
come
to
back
us,
and
they're gonna
say,
have to have-
oh, we can't do that.
yeah.
When they come back, they're gonna have to have a lot better plans. You
Okay.
have plot plans, dimensions of the building, a parking scheme, lighting, all that stuff.
Okay,
well, there is, is this the right
You
one?
already submitted
You
that.
submitted some. So,
I
you,
should-
yeah, you got the purchase and sale agreement, the application,
they started an application actually,
the
but it didn't have a lot of dimensions, you know, a lot of.
building
Needs to be transposed onto
onto a site plan. Okay, that's fine, so then. How big was the retail? The retail was. Do you know how many square feet that the retail was?
That whole building,
Well,
the main house, all 3 floors, is a total of 6,013 square feet.
yeah, but that includes the Airbnbs.
Yeah, so that's, is it for the? for
So
retail?
6,000 with their Airbnbs and the retail space.
And how much is how, is it just, what's the ground floor?
It's probably not that
Did you
much.
see this right here?
It really is just the addition that they put on in the store.
Okay,
So it's,
It's a totally 10 shared parking spaces, service store, event center,
And
and
rental.
rental.
and so that's,
That's pretty short.
well, that's what I'm trying to, yeah, you said, what's 3,000 square feet for retail? Is that,
no, I don't even think it's 3,000.
Two.
No, just the first floor is 2,400 square feet,
2,400.
that includes,
There's gonna be like a kitchen.
that includes one of the rentals.
Yeah, I know.
So it's probably like
1,000.
1,000 maximum, just retail.
that makes it actually very easy, because then that's 4 parking spaces per 1,000 square feet, it's 4 parking spaces. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7 for the dwelling units, 3 units, and the retail store.
Mhm.
Got enough parking for that.
Mhm. And then the events would be after the stores close, so.
And yeah, and I think that might free up those 4 parking spaces. I
That's
don't know,
That's pretty short.
How big is the lot?
that's what I'm,
1.5 acres?
so what, I guess what I'm wondering is. Those 2 use, let's say, there's not enough parking for the event space right now.
Mhm.
The retail store and the dwelling units, there's enough parking for those.
Yeah,
Are you comfortable with approving that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have to put an event center in there.
Right, and
They
then,
do wanna put an event center in there, so like the address parking to do it.
right,
So how much parking do you want in addition?
so that's what I'm trying to look at that and see what. What requirement there is in here that is close.
but that could be like behind,
Mhm.
you know,
Well, there's definitely enough space in the acreage of the lot to
yeah,
add.
there's a lot of
There's 10 spots currently, but we could add more.
in the back, you could put more.
Yeah.
For the-
And so I think, and so
The
that's,
sides, yeah.
that's what I'm thinking is.
But depending on what it's classified as, is where you put parking. Right?
Yeah, well, and if the board can say, yeah, you can put those 3 dwelling units there, and you can put the retail store there. And I can include that kitchen, because you may want to, you know, it's basically like a convenience store, I know it's be. Different, but,
Okay.
but,
If
you
that's
know,
what
they
it needs to
sell,
be under.
they sell to-go food
Yeah.
and things, right, so. That sounds like you've basically got enough parking for that.
Mhm.
I'll look and see what other requirements there might be for those two uses. And then in order to do events, do the restaurant, the events, you have to come back and the site plan that shows you're gonna have enough parking, where you're gonna put it and do that.
Okay.
Especially because now that, I'm just throwing that out there as an option. Or you can say, no, we need more information and table this and you have to come back. I'm just looking for how to be helpful, not necessarily say you gotta do. So,
Well, I think we can definitely approve the uses that you mentioned.
those two, like
Yeah, the
the
two uses.
retail and the,
So if you just let us know how much for
And then
the event space.
yeah,
Then we'll do.
but I think their lot is big enough that it will accommodate
sure, I think so too, but
flexible parking options without it. You don't wanna you don't wanna pave the whole area, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
right, no, I agree, but I think that the board's gonna need some. You need some information to say like, okay, this is gonna work, what's the solution, where's it gonna go?
We're gonna need a real site plan, a drawing of the site.
Yeah.
But to get her what she needs for tonight, to make Wednesday happen, we can say that we support the rental and the retail with the 7 parking spaces for what she currently has the parking.
For that, yeah,
So do we need to vote on that, or do we just?
I think,
I would say yes, we've gotta make it
Okay.
official.
so,
So I'd like to make a motion that we
approve those two
approve
uses,
these two uses, the
the retail store.
retail store and the
The
rentals.
3 dwelling units.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be multi-unit. Housing, multi-unit residential,
Yeah,
which is technicality that I care about.
Okay.
Yeah,
multi-unit residential.
in the existing building, so there's no
Yeah, with the
construction,
existing
exterior
and,
construction.
and using the existing parking. Okay,
That was my thing. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Yeah, great,
Great.
so you got that,
So just let us know on the event space.
Yes.
And then we can send a site plan for that.
follow up with me and we'll.
Mhm.
Get all that squared away.
yeah.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
Now the village.
Thank you.
But now the village, 575 Main Street. Um,
I got Jared.
It's a expensive village. But I guess,
Not when you think of, real buildings,
yeah,
not at all.
Watch it.
Well, I'll introduce myself. I'm Jan Wigman, with the project manager with Wright Pierce. We are doing the site engineering for this particular project. With me here is, I'll go right down the line.
Tor Glendenning, and I'm the project architect of record on the project.
Sally Farrell, I'm the Director of Operations at the CLC YMCA.
So, quick overview, the YMCA is looking to increase its capability around daycare. And they've explored a number of options, and what they've come up with, and it's not me, it's Tor and his and others. Is the Discovery Village, which is gonna be a series of 5 yurts. Now, these yurts are 30 feet in diameter. 4 of them are going to be classroom yurts, and one of them is gonna be an administration yurt. And this is gonna go on the site, just adjacent to the existing building, just on the left-hand side, if you're looking at the front of the building. And
where the
in
pool
addition,
was gonna go,
excuse me, Susan.
where we always thought the pool would go.
Yeah, right, where you thought the pool was gonna go, and there's also gonna be a large playground. That's gonna be divided into 2 different age groups essentially. And this is gonna be a discovery type playground with like things like logs and other, primitive type exploration things for children to explore on. And as you can see, the 4 yurts are gonna, for the 4 classroom yurts are gonna be behind the, kind of behind that little, the fitness portion of the Y, it'll be behind that area. And then there'll be a pathway from the drop-off loop that takes people to the back into those classrooms, and it'll go by the administration yurt, which will be directly off the front of the building. And the playground will be over where there's currently a under-drain soil filter, so a stormwater treatment measure that was installed back in 2017, I think, in that era, and 18 when that addition was built. So
Is that remaining, or are you moving that, the under drainage?
well, I'll explain what's gonna happen with that. That particular under drain soil filter is gonna continue to remain there. What we're going to do is we're going to put in a series of crates underground essentially to store stormwater. And we're gonna put a filter below that so that it's gonna remain in that area underneath the playground, but it will be essentially underground. And it will take stormwater from the surface,
Like the parking lot,
kind of like a parking lot with a, you know, with a system.
like
underneath it.
our back parking lot.
Yeah, because the space is so valuable here and space that close to the building as well, and this particular function, you know, the daycare function is really integral to the overall project. It's hard to kind of put it someplace else. So, and as well with the stormwater function, it's important that we keep the stormwater function here. There really isn't room to move it down in other locations. One of the things that we're incorporating in this particular plan is a retaining wall. And that is, you know, in order to manage the grades on this particular site, keep the playground somewhat, you know, flat. Because the site does slope from the building towards the school property and also towards the east. There's a wetland that's off to the east of the site. And so we're putting in a retaining wall that'll allow the bulk of the area to be relatively level and developable for this particular function. One of the yurts is gonna sit on the it'll be up on stilts below the supported by the ground that's below at the lower level. But it'll all be at the same level as the other 3 yurts in this particular case. This is the one that'll be kind of up in the air. And then these 3 here will be supported, I say on the ground, they're actually about 20 inches off the ground. Because they're not on full foundations, they're on posts. As well as the big deck in the middle of that will be, there'll be like a common space in between all these different, these 4 different classroom spaces.
Is that deck up off the ground too?
Yes, yeah.
And I'm assuming that the one that's higher, off the ground, that deck is that a deck around it?
Yes, it's a circulation deck around it. That's
So is that
correct.
the administration yurt?
No, your administration yurt is here. You first come
Oh.
in, you walk down the path, the administration yurt will be here, and then these are the 4 classroom yurts. Up there. In the center is a large open deck.
So that curvy line is the retaining wall.
The curvy line is the retaining wall, correct?
So are you going to still have daycare in the Y, or is it all gonna be transferred to these?
We still have one classroom that's in the main Y. We will no longer, we'll be getting rid of our Noblesboro Center, so.
So that's, so you're not going over to the American Legion building?
That's
Remember,
not the plan right now.
okay, that was a plan, but it's not the plan.
Correct.
Okay.
And so, this particular plan will, it utilizes the function that's on the Y itself, obviously, and allows for this expansion of the program. As I had mentioned, when it comes to things like water, sewer, things like that, this project is on town water and sewer. We have been working with Scott F. Tony at the Great Salt Basin Sanitary District to working, dialoguing with him, making sure he has all the information he needs, but he hasn't responded positively to us in terms of, yes, we have the capacity. it's gonna take about another, an additional 700 to 1,000 gallons a day of additional water usage and sewer flow. The water usage will come off the existing, out of the existing building, tap off the existing service. Sewer, there's an existing pump station out there that'll be utilized. And electrical is the only other utility that'll be utilized here, and that'll come off. Internal to the Y, it will be a service for these yurts.
So there's bathrooms in each year?
There's a bathroom and a small kitchen sink in each yurt.
But they're up on stilts.
That's correct.
So how do you deal,
It's
how
gonna
do
be
you
an
make that work?
insulated service.
Just,
Picture a culvert turned upright
okay,
and it's insulated, so all the surfaces go down to the ground.
Does the administration, your takeaway from the parking out front?
No, this is completely separate from the parking up front. You can see the circle on the lower left. That's kind of the existing extent of the existing parking up front. It's a drop off circle. So that, people dropping their children off will park there temporarily, get out, drop them off and then continue on.
We kind of have a shed there right now. I don't know if you're familiar. There's a standalone shed. That's kind of the area
Gotcha.
to give you.
so where's the school? The
The
school's
school is
up.
just out north, yeah.
Okay,
Can I bring something up? Just because you have more expertise in this than I am, this will be near and dear to your heart. No. you. What about fire truck access to that? Fire suppression too.
Correct, and I'm guessing where they're gonna be classroom, that's all gonna have to go through the fire marshal's office to be tied in.
What about access to that area?
I haven't looked at the roadway there, but I don't know that's gonna be.
Well, can I speak to that?
Yep.
So I met with Chief Roberts early on during the design process, yeah.
Okay.
And he actually informed us and it resulted in a change to the design of this, this whole site plan. And so the road is actually constructed to take apparatus and it's wide enough to do so.
So it is.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
The
and
way you were speaking about it is a walkway, I was going,
Well,
yeah,
that's the intended use for
No, I'm sure.
how do you access that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parents aren't gonna drive there.
Parents are not gonna drive.
Is that gonna be maintained year round as width enough to put a vehicle through there?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, so, and turning radius was considered as well, so we've talked about how, let's say an ambulance would come in,
Right.
they would come in and use that sort of hammerhead, and they would be able to turn around and come back out.
Okay. Good. Yeah, a concern.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had something, 6 feet, 7 feet wide in vision and.
Yeah,
so are these temporary? I mean, how long do yurts last?
Yurts last up to 50 years. You have to replace the skin, just the outside part, every 15 years.
Okay,
so these are insulated, very well insulated yurts, floors, walls and roof. And, each yurt is equipped with, plumbing facilities, so bathroom meets ADA, it has, a heating exchange and air exchange system, lighting, early detection system for fire safety, life safety.
how are they heated?
They're heated with, heat pumps.
What company provides the yurts, or have you done
We have
that?
a company out in Colorado.
Yeah, the company is, it's one of the only companies that can kind of fulfill the program of what's needed, and it's it's called Colorado Yurt Company. So they provide a package deal. These are 30 feet in diameter, so they're fairly large.
It's kind of like modular housing.
We've been working very closely with our childcare licensor who, is with the state and then also the state marshal, because we have
Yeah.
to make sure they're fire retardant. And then we've kind of had to come up with a plan of how many children are they gonna license for a 30-foot yurt? Just so we know that we have like an economical, financial, sustainability for the Y for this
Is it like
program.
10 per
in the
yurt,
future, too. We've heard other programs that are doing this right now are getting licensed for 9 children, so.
The school's got a couple of them too over there.
They had one over
Yeah.
near to GSB, yes, and then we toured a place in Hope and then a place in Woolwich just opened one. I mean, it's becoming, just because of what a yurt costs versus a building, so it is becoming a lot more popular.
Nothing else, is there anything else you want to address?
We have, we submitted the application. I don't know if you've had a chance to go through that, or if you've got questions, we'd be happy to discuss individual or the questions, or you can run through the application as well.
What is your timeline, or what are you hoping?
Yeah, so construction would start in January and complete in June. So the Y hopes to take ownership, possession of the project this summer.
Completed.
Completed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How does it affect your parking?
It's a good question. There is, again, with the daycare component, there's a lot of, pick up and drop off. So there's the temporary circle there, drop off. So that's gonna remain the same. There is potentially up to 12 additional staff members. And the Y manages their parking by, there's some fluidity to their existing parking. They've got 101 spaces if you count the actual spaces, but there's some additional overflow parking that they have available to them on the south side of the building. And that's familiar with it, yeah.
Mike, what does, the building itself fall under, and how many parking spaces they need? Cause we see quite often that we get a plan approved and then they keep adding things on, but the parking, and they have increased their parking, but what's required of them to have for parking? Maybe we need to have that answer as well.
Yeah, so that's what I'm just looking at right now. I don't see like a day, both childcare is in here. It's 1/4 children licensed for care. I assume that means 1 parking space for every 4 kids. The other one that's on here that, I don't know, maybe this is more appropriate for primary school, it's 1.5 spaces per classroom.
Well, that would cover the staff, actually. I was talking about 10 to 12 staff for 30 kids or something, or 40 kids.
They wouldn't all, the staff wouldn't all be there at the
There
same time also, and the way our program works, it's different than GSB where, at 8 o'clock when they're dropping off, it's crazy.
Mhm.
Because our program is from 7 AM to 5:30, it's flexible. So, right, I watch it Nobleboro now and know, like, we usually have 2, like those busier times in the morning, and at the end of the day, we have 2 cars there. The most we really have is 3, just if people come in, it's 10 minutes and they're gone.
I think that there's 2 things. One is the parking that's gonna be required or occupied by staff, which maybe would fit in line with this 1.5 per classroom or something. And then there's also the other issue, which I think is more of a kind of circulation issue, is that you're gonna get people who are coming in and dropping off. And maybe you're, parking there for the minute while they walk their kid in or something, but those are 2 different.
But I think my question more is around the use of the building itself, right? Of what does that require to have, for them to have for parking?
Oh,
Because
existing use.
Correct, existing, and then add this to it, because I've been up there before and made many circles around the parking lot and found nothing. So I know parking's tight. So what does the whole footprint require them to have for parking,
Mhm.
and then add this to it?
That.
I mean, well, we did get approval,
In the past, this is where he helps. He does a lot of the legwork and heavy lifting for the reviews, so I'm using him as part of my brain.
What's the question exactly?
Just, I guess, how much parking, do we look at how much parking the existing building and use need? Like what would be required if they wanted to build the Y as it is today? New, how much parking would that require?
Wouldn't that be just the one for the childcare use, or I'm saying why a different use?
Yeah, I mean, there's sports club, there's five per thousand square feet, which is a
Yeah.
lot. I don't know how big the building is,
60,000.
60,000, so. I mean,
That's a lot.
yeah, I mean, that's what,
A lot.
That's my point.
And I agree with you, I have been up there good many times myself when you couldn't find a place to park. But classically, most of the time, as long as there's not an event going on, there's someplace to park. It's when they have, something happening. Not to mention the ball game going on.
Does this do anything to the ball field?
No.
No.
Does this increase the amount of kids that can attend the daycare
Yes.
from?
From what to what?
What's your capacity? now?
It depends what direction. We're doing a community needs assessment next week, so we'll find out where the need of the community is because whether it's the toddler age or the infant age, we're gonna be looking at that some more, but in terms
In
of,
general,
yeah, I mean, it will put us up probably about 6, so.
What do you
From where
have
we are
now?
now.
What do you?
Up in Noblesboro, we have 4, 8.
I think the number's like 55, isn't it total at the end?
Including our space that we
Yeah.
already have, yeah, that makes sense.
So about 55 when you're all said and done,
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, and you have like 30 something now in Noblesboro.
Yes,
so you're gonna be going from 30 something to 50 something?
well, yes, because we already have that one classroom in the main
Yeah.
facility that we're gonna maintain.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're adding 20 students worth of capacity, about 15, 20?
Not that many, I would
And-
say 9 because there's 9 in the yurt, so I would be safe
Say
to say 9.
adding 9, okay, well, still, I mean, you're
Yeah.
adding, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this. So if you have a 60,000 square foot sports club health spa, 300 parking spaces are what would be required. I'm gonna guess that that's not what's there. 101 is what's there.
well, it's
That's what he
like,
said.
it also
Yeah.
includes like a indoor tennis court
yeah.
Well, that's,
You got,
I think that's.
gymnasium and you've
and a
got tennis
gym,
courts.
you know what I mean?
It's not filled with people though.
Yeah, it's not like a
It is maxed out.
It's not like your, what is it?
fitness studio.
Yeah, it's the-
Yeah.
it's just-
But
Yeah.
it can fill up. There are issues up there, parking sometimes.
Yeah,
Well, I guess I. With ordinance, and we can kind of look at this in any number of ways, but I guess really my attitude is like, what do you think the parking need is? You're the ones, I mean, it's not like you're. Yeah, what do you think you're parking? How's this gonna affect the parking that's there?
So I think in the immediate time, the staff has got some place for parking along the south side of the building. There's just a little extra zone beyond the playground area along that stretch there. So you're looking for, sort of rotating staff, but up to 12.
Mhm.
The circulation with the actual drop off, I mean, the parking lot's already built for that with
Yeah.
that was the whole concept with that circle was high volume, 5 o'clock. Kids get dropped off, for after school care. And then you sort of pick up and you're out of there. That's the whole concept of that loop and the whole path. You may be familiar with the sort of the long-term plan, which is the swap with the Legion Hall.
Mhm.
And in that case, the Y will eventually swap with the Legion Hall and they'll take over Noblesboro building. And, then the Legion Hall will essentially become vacated. And so that property will become part of the YMCA aggregate and property. There's a lot of parking out there that's targeted, to make up this sort of expanding kind of the necessity for parking on the YMCA.
That seems like an easy spot to say, staff go park at the Legion. While, once the Y gets it, if there's no use in it.
Yeah.
Right, but that's when they get to that, that's long range, that's not what they have now. We just talked about parking for a 10 parking spot, right?
Yeah.
So we can't say limit them to 7 and then give free range to the next one.
Well, I think the question, the way I understand it, what's the immediate burden once, this starts once this is open. And the burden is, 2 or 3 drop-offs, perhaps,
Yeah.
in a rotating fashion. So it's not people coming in, parking.
No, I get that.
So it's just really accommodating the staff is really what you're doing. So I think the Y can accommodate that along the south side of the building. So that's good. I think the question, what I was addressing was in the future, as the Y becomes, the use of the Y increases, it hasn't gone the other way. What's their answer for that? And I think that's what I'm saying, long term. And the long term means as soon as the Discovery Village is completed, then the Y has got an agreement with Legion Hall to swap. So it's not like 5 years down the road.
Right.
This could happen like this year. And so as soon as, it's all contingent on how fast the Legion can get out of their building and sort of build out Noblesboro. And so as soon as that happens and that's vacated, I'm saying months, not years, then that whole sort of premise becomes available to the Y to satisfy extra parking needs in the future.
So is Discovery Village just a temporary thing?
No.
Or is it a
No,
long-term
this is a
That's-
30 to 50 year.
Okay.
Development.
So the plan for the Legion is different,
Correct.
use of, okay.
So is there an agreement between the American Legion and the YMCA as far as parking, and they can use the American Legion parking?
We just text Ryan whenever we need spaces and he says yes. Like whenever, if we have big events or whatever, we just
Yeah.
communicate back and forth and there's never been an issue with that.
Yeah, it's with the Y especially, like, I'm just thinking about how the parking actually works. It's not like you've got staff, you've got any number of programs, and then you've got, I don't know, customers, patrons, whatever you call them, but. And there's just something, like there's the share, I don't know, it's not really shared, but it's one use, but. You have lots of different needs. It's not just like a retail store where everybody should be. You need people who are coming and going, and if you don't have those spaces available,
Yeah, and
so.
it's also up to the YMCA administration to understand their programming and how they need to adapt their timing with what programs, they can offer, they might not be able to offer aerobics. Or life cycles at, at 4:30 when there's high demand for drop off or something like that, so. That's all becomes part of their administration.
Yeah, that's.
So they submitted a pretty detailed application. I wasn't able to read it completely on my computer, but,
Yeah, no, there's a lot,
But it seems
there's a
like-
lot more information than our ordinance
right.
applies to.
So, I mean, it seems like it's complete. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I don't think that would be unreasonable.
I don't think there's any more information we could ask of them.
There's a couple like just
Are there?
questions in here,
Okay.
in the findings of fact. I believe you get a DEP approval, you're working on.
The DEP approval, the site currently has a site location development act, so this is a change. However, DEP has an exemption if your total increase in impervious area is less than 10,000 square feet per year, you don't need to apply for an amendment. Because these days amendments have been taken, 9 months to a year, if not longer. But this project has less than 10,000 square feet. So this qualifies for that amendment. Once you break this, and then you have a 20,000 total threshold. Once you go over that 20,000, then you need to apply for an amendment. So we're not going to apply for, we have to let the DEP know we're doing this, but that's all we need to do.
Okay, all right, have you done that or are you waiting for approval?
We're waiting.
I got you, okay. Yes, and you're not gonna get an approval back from them, is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
You just need to give them notice.
So if you were gonna get an approval, if you needed DEP approval, I would say we'll just make it conditional on their approval, but it sounds like. You don't need, I guess we could make it conditional on you letting DEP know, but. And if you don't let them know and do this project, they'll let you know,
Right.
so. Sanitary district, okay, that I think is maybe the only thing. We just make it conditional on. Getting confirmation from the sanitary district that they can serve the project, which I imagine they can, but.
Well, also Ford spoke with Chief Roberts too. Did you get a letter from him?
I didn't, I'm sorry that I didn't know that it was a requirement, and I had done that in the past, but,
Yeah. Don't think that'd be prudent to do that.
Yeah, I think that's.
We got a letter from him saying he's cool with us. Sure. What do you think, Neil?
No, I agree.
Yeah, and I might also suggest that the condition be that you maintain that fire access path, which you already said you're gonna do. Yep.
And maybe mention to him, you guys were applying. Requesting a waiver. For fire protection, because there's a hydrant.
I'm sorry,
It's-
say that again.
Wait, okay, at the bottom of page 2, you say, plan for supplying water for fire protection. The site is located. There's a hydrant at the entrance of the lot.
Yeah, there's a existing fire hydrant,
Yeah.
right? Is it in front of the school or is it? in front of this?
right outside the school, then
Yeah.
to the school,
But
it's
it's,
just a couple lots over.
yeah, where close enough that you're gonna, that's what they're gonna need. There's a standpipe also somewhere.
Well, the building's got a standpipe, but that's
Yeah.
for servicing the building,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, just one, I noted on Plan L1. Item 5 just says that all work shall be in conformance with the town of Lincoln.
Oh, geez.
I assume that you meant town of Damariscotta.
Yes,
So typo.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's, I assumed, just
Sorry
wanted
about
to,
that.
not a problem, that's,
I'm glad you read that.
I will, and I should give credit to Reed, he found that, so, I did not. From where impervious surface less than 50% of the parcel. Yeah, there's no way you're getting to 50% impervious coverage on,
51 acres. so.
yeah, right.
What about lighting out there and the,
The
Yeah,
lighting's gonna be, it's gonna be all low level lighting, from a bollard type
Yeah.
fixture along the path.
and nothing out around the yurt, other than the path?
That's,
Yeah, I mean, other than, excuse me, the yurts are, showing at the entryways of the yurts, it's got like a portico, like a
Mhm.
wood structure. There'll be a, you know, like a residential type, light in the bottom of
Mhm.
that, structure. Ceiling.
yeah, that's, are you looking at the findings of fact right now, is that? I checked, just side note, I checked on the laptops that are working. IT's still working on them, I don't know what's the holdup, but soon you will have screens that you'll be able to look
So
at.
we've been hearing,
Yeah, I saw them, I have seen them. Okay, the bollards are 3 feet 6 inches and can be 3,000 kelvins or less, I think the cut sheet that you provided
Yeah.
showed that.
Yeah.
What else is in here? See, an erosion and sedimentation control plan, Jan, are you gonna be the contact for that, or I guess it's really probably gonna be it's relevant to the construction, so I don't know who's the person to contact if the.
you can contact us certainly if
Yeah.
there's an issue. The contractor is in charge of the site
Mhm.
during construction, so.
I-
He's the contractor will be the first point of contact.
Yeah.
If there's an issue.
So do you have a contractor lined up yet?
Yeah, it's Bright Ryan Construction.
Okay. So. I guess because ordinance wants name, address and telephone number.
Yep.
That's something you can provide.
I can
with-
provide that to you.
Yeah.
The project manager would be a good contact for you to have.
Great. If you provide that.
Stormwater is gonna be underneath the playground.
That's correct.
How tall is the retaining wall there? I
I
imagine
think
varies,
it's
but
at the height, at the highest point, it's about 8 feet, I think.
okay. For that,
And there's a fence along the entire,
on all of it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that is, city.
Do you have a
Safety.
picture of what it's gonna look like? A drawing of kind of what the finished in
you mean
your,
a rendering?
a rendering?
I think we have a rendering of the yurt. Do you have that?
I just was wondering if it was on
I
that.
do a rendering of the yurt.
We have some artwork of the, she's got the.
Yeah.
the-
Pretty, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's so pretty altogether.
So the playground is, it's a nature-based playground, as Jan had alluded to, with like trees. So there's no plastic or metal installations. Everything is natural. It's mounded earth, grasses, different types of surfaces that the kids can feel textile. There's different installations that they can play with, so it's a different concept, so, but yeah, it'll be a beautiful, natural playground when it's all done. But I wish we had a picture for you. but
Yeah, it just sounds really,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Will it be a summer camp in addition to a daycare? Will that lead to more kids in the summer, or is it just a daycare for kids that are too young for school?
No, most of our summer camp, we partner with the Booth Bay Y and the kids go down to Camp Knickerbocker. So,
Okay.
So will you not use this in the summer?
oh, we'll use it. We're year round childcare.
Okay.
But it won't,
But there's a
yeah, won't. be a-
additional program that goes down, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's everything that I've got. I just need to check these. We talked about the DEP approval. I don't think is necessary, assuming you all don't think DEP is necessary. Confirmation from GSB, maintain the fire access path year round, and then we'll get confirmation from Scott Roberts, who I know you talked to, or I think I've talked to her.
Really tough, we'll get a lot of.
Yeah, so, those are the conditions I've got. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? That is an issue?
No.
No,
It's great.
yeah.
The only thing I had a question, I know kids go between the Y and the school.
It does-
Is that still?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
we're maintaining the
doesn't
path.
change.
Yeah, that was one of the key.
Yeah, that's important to maintain
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, I imagine. Okay, all right, that was just my side note, yeah, I guess if you wanted to approve or start. If you wanna go down that path.
They
Completion,
gotta bring all that stuff back anyway.
findings of fact, what's that?
They're gonna bring all stuff you requested back, right? Or are you saying we can approve this right now, contingent on the arrival of that?
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's what yes, you mean the letter from fire chief and
Condition
ESP.
here.
Yeah, that's what I figured is, if as long as we get that. I would be happy. For you all to approve it, but it's not up to me.
We still
Okay,
need
the
to,
application is incomplete.
I mean, I think so, it's,
Okay.
yeah,
Is
I mean,
everybody cool with this?
Yeah, I think that, I'd like to make a motion that the application is complete.
We'll start with that. Anybody wanna make a motion on it? Oh, you just did.
Yeah, I just did.
Okay, I want a second.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right,
just quick questions are, you still need to get a building permit at some point, right?
Yeah.
Would that be the time to display the additional information, or?
so, assuming that this goes forward and the board says, yeah, we're gonna approve this with
Yeah.
conditions. You wouldn't be able to pull your building permit until you get us those things.
Right.
So if you bring those tomorrow,
Yeah,
then.
which is not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I understand, but you can pull the building permit.
So you need them before you get the permit.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
so the idea is like, yes, we need more things, but you wouldn't have to come back to the planning board because you know,
Yeah.
they've got those three things that we need, the town needs, but other than that, it's sounds like the direction that we might be going in. Okay, so that was what, a 4-0 vote that it is complete?
And there's the one waiver requested, right?
So what was
On
the-
page 2, it was the plan for the water supply
Oh, well,
for
I think there
flood.
is, that's a big.
No, I think it's two different things. The hydrant shouldn't be an issue. There's one on either side of the entrance to the YMCA property, either side.
Yeah.
I think the water issue is, can GSB supply them the need or the demand that they need, and we need that in that letter.
That's what we need from
Okay.
GSP.
So there's no waivers requested.
I don't see one.
Yeah,
how
so
would
so
be.
that's not
Oh,
applicable.
that's, yeah.
You know, at the bottom of page 2. Or,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, unless you think that it requires a waiver, but
no,
I
no,
think-
you had just written it down,
yeah, it's,
but forget it.
but I will get rid of that. So, okay, so it is complete. According to you all, do you want to adopt the findings of fact and as amended?
That would be the next step. Do you want to make a motion on that? I can't.
Sure, I'll make a motion that we adopt the findings of fact as amended.
Okay, do I have a second? I move in favor. Hold opposed.
Okay, that was 4-0, I was not finished.
Yes.
Who seconded? I'm sorry, I missed that. Who seconded? Oh.
I did.
You know,
Thanks.
Okay, so. And I guess the next one would be, is it consistent with? Site plan review and land use. I don't believe, it's not in shoreland, yeah.
And
At least
the site
documents.
plan and the land use ordinance.
Yeah,
Okay, no.
land use and site plan.
Anybody want to make a motion on that?
Go ahead, Jenny.
I'd like to make a motion that this plan is, meets the requirements of the land use ordinance and the site plan review ordinance.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All opposed?
You're in favor, Jenny?
Yes.
Okay, so
Going that
you
fast.
want to approve it with the conditions that I met, these three conditions, confirmation from GSB that they can service it,
Yeah, you got
confirmation from the fire chief on the plan, and then also that the fire access path will be maintained year round.
okay, that motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve this application with the 3 conditions Michael just mentioned.
And
Do I have
I
a
said,
second? Okay, all those in favor?
right,
All those opposed?
then you guys can get to work.
Thank you so much.
You don't
Thank
have-
you, that sounds so
Excited.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's only taken about 7 years to get to this.
Then you
A lot more
you can call up and order those. Yours.
Yeah, well,
I think it's really exciting.
yeah.
Has
Yeah,
this idea been
Rendering.
cooking along?
Well, what happened is we were looking how much it costs to renovate the American Legion building, and it was gonna be almost $5 million. And in addition to that, then we needed to put the kids somewhere temporarily, because the way Ryan wants to switch buildings.
Yeah.
So then we started thinking about using yurts temporarily, but then we're like, wait, why are we doing this temporarily? This is such a better business model. So that's when we made the switch and, you know, really got on board with the nature-based curriculum and everything. So.
That's great.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thanks, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anything else other than to say we still need 2 more people for the planning board. We need a full-time regular member and then another alternate.
What's that been advertised? Cause I don't think people know about.
I'm sure they don't, that's, something that I've talked to Emerson about, she's working on a communication plan for the town. So saying it now on the record, into the camera and tell your friends. I think other than that, I said nothing else to report on either.
I think that the town needs to look at the Bodenhammer, newsletter on Bodenham. And it's an amazing communication vehicle for everybody.
From where, Jody?
Bodenham, it's called Bodenhammer. It's an amazing email newsletter, comes out once a week, put together by a bunch of folks, and it's just an amazing communication vehicle.
Mike, back to the, not to drag this on, but when somebody comes in to expand, are we looking parking thing, because that's still,
Yeah, I understand, yeah, I think. Yes, if someone comes in and says, if someone comes in and we look at the ordinance. And it says you need 10 spaces for this 10,000 square feet, and they want to add another 10,000 square feet, they're saying we're not expanding the parking. I think it's reasonable to say, no, you need to have parking for that new use. You've already, those 10 spaces are already used for your existing 10,000 square feet. If they say, well, those are never full, and this is not obviously what we heard tonight, but if someone's like, I've got 10 parking spaces at 10,000 square feet, I only ever have 3 or 4 people in them. And then I say, I want to, add another 10,000 square feet, and the board could say, okay, well, then it sounds like you'll have enough parking even if you do double your space. That's fine. The ordinance does allow for the planning board to reduce parking requirements based on the applicant. The applicant says, we don't need that much.
well, unless I missed something, we still never got how many they needed for what they're,
For
what they are right now.
the
right?
YMCA.
So
Well,
correct.
What the ordinance said they needed is 300 parking spaces, and
they don't have
I
that.
don't have that.
That's square footage, but
I can't help that. That's
Yeah,
not
I
what the
know.
ordinance says, right?
Well,
So,
so
that's
that's,
why we're able to say, okay, well, you don't need that much, because we are able to reduce it. Because, if somebody came in and said, okay, I'm gonna put in a movie theater and I've got X amount of room, that's a lot more people than a tennis court with 4 on it.
if you know as well as I do, there's more than 4 there.
But each tennis court, yeah, there's how many tennis courts?
Correct. That was my whole point of that,
1, 2, 3,
right? It's
4,
just that we're
4.
adding more things to an already crowded problem, right?
Yeah.
And that was where we just need to look at that in the future stuff, because the application before that
yeah,
made them reduce because they didn't have enough.
well, yeah, we also needed a site plan from that.
I understand that, but we made them reduce their scope, what they came for tonight, because they didn't have enough for what they were classified as.
Yes, yeah, no, I think that's fair.
But there is the whole overflow parking at the Legion.
Not yet.
Right, you can't count that, Jenny. I can tell you that I'm gonna buy a 1,000,000-acre lot that I'm gonna put parking in, but that doesn't approve what I'm in front of you for tonight.
Right, yeah, no, I think that's right. I think that the site plan review does. And we talked about this, a lot of the standards are a little bit wonky, and the ordinance is like kind of written to be squishy. But I think we need to get a handle on that and say like, well, what are the standards? If we wanna deviate from them, what's the process to do that? Cause right now it does seem kind of like, it's kind of open-ended.
Right, because
So-
we're gonna run back into the whole 435 again, right? Where, well, you could do it then, we gotta stay away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I think, and that's, yes, you're not wrong, and that's why the approach that I try to take with all of this is like, try to give you options if you want to say yes to certain things, but I guess I'm always kind of playing, it's not really devil's advocate, like angel's advocate, like, you could do this if we want to, but that does not mean that you all have to. Like, if you think like, no, they're not meeting the standard, that's.
Because if that application that was before this one comes back and says, no, we're gonna add 7 more places out front. No, you can't, because that's between the main road and the front of your building, so you can't add it there.
Right.
Right, so we just gotta be careful of that, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And that's the retail, the pawn shop, it's not gonna be a pawn shop. It's also new uses, right? So I think there's also that to consider, and that's more, and I'm thinking out loud about like, as we update ordinances, is like, you've got an existing use and it's someone that's already there and they're established and they wanna do a thing. The ordinance should be able to accommodate that, where like a new use, like when you're going in, I think we should kind of make sure, like, you need to make sure you've got everything you need.
Right.
And then if it turns out you don't need that much, once you're established, you can adjust, but. So,
I'll stop.
no, I'm happy to
Don't
talk.
stop. Don't ever stop.
Yeah,
You need that kind of shit. I stop.
All right, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay.
And I say one more thing.
I'll second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Good. All right.
Yelling to condense that all down to, we need to be